This chapter of One Piece introduced one of the most unexpected team-ups possible, along with the strange fate of the Straw Hats who lost to Gunko. The cover page of One Piece chapter 1147, titled "The Things We Find Scary," features Raizo thanking and rewarding Yamato with food. So I guess the ulti recruitment thing from the last chapter will come up later. Earlier, Saul recognized Saint Summers as a member of God's Knights. Because of that, he insisted that Robin and Chopper hide in his hair. He knows that the members of their group are immortal. So for the sake of the endangered children, Saul begged Robin and Chopper to wait for the right time before leaving. Saint Summers hadn't expected there to be a second survivor of Ohara. Clearly, the Marines did a sloppy job. There was some slight shuffling from the hidden Straw Hats, but Saint Summers was too distracted to notice. He found out that Gunko managed to secure a bunch of the Straw Hats. He wondered if they'd be bringing them back to the Holy Land, but St. Keelingham was very against it. They were not here to provoke Straw Hat Luffy. They just need to fulfill their mission and return home. And oh man, what a sorry sight. Usopp, Nami, Brook, and Jinbei have all been tied up. Nami was mad about what they did to Saul and the fact that they took Colin. She immediately blamed Jinbei for not living up to his reputation. She expected to be safe with him around, and I can't say I blame her. Gunko hitting Jinbei, I can understand. Jinbei failing to hit Gunko, I can understand. Hell, Jinbei hitting Gunko and it not being effective, I can understand. But ending up like this is just pitiful. This man is a former warlord with the third highest bounty on the crew, which is over the 1 billion berry threshold. This is like Kyogre being caught with a regular Pokeball. It's just embarrassing. But Jinbei didn't want to hear any of that noise. He was still trying to think of a way to deal with Gunko's immortality, so maybe he can still redeem himself. I'm not sure why the universal devil fruit weakness towards the sea isn't the first thing to come to mind for the first son of the sea, but maybe he'll get there eventually. Usopp thought he'd be dead by now. Meanwhile, Brook seemed to recognize Gunko, but was having a hard time believing his suspicions. Just then, Gunko pointed her blade at his face. Usopp decided to call her the Zombie Lady. And despite her devil fruit power, Gunko is in fact a swordsman. And for that matter, all of God's Knights seem to be weapon wielders. Gunko began stepping on Brook, pushing his skull with the heel of her boot. When she addressed him, the skeleton began to sweat. Gunko declared that Brook's new purpose in life would be to make music for her. So as we imagined, Gunko planned on turning Brook into her personal slave. Brook's fears seemed to be reality. Nami couldn't believe that the invader was familiar with Brook's music. For Usopp, a Celestial Dragon being a Soul King fan was all kinds of wrong. And Jinbei did not envy Brook for his strange groupie. It looks like Gunko is Brook's Billie Jean, but Saint Summers was the one to discourage her. He wasn't looking to pick a fight with a Yonko. When Gunko didn't respond, he further insisted that they focus on completing the task at hand. Oh man, the level of plot armor around the Straw Hats right now is insane. The reputation of their captain is the only thing keeping them from being enslaved or outright killed. And that to me just says that they do not respect his father Dragon at all. They took Ginny without a care in the world because they knew that man would not do anything. Brook sat up. He apologized to Gunko. He told her that his captain was the one who gave him a second chance at life. And ever since then, his loyalty has belonged to Straw Hat Luffy and him alone. Gunko wondered if his answer would change if it meant accepting death. And without hesitation, Brook let her know that he would sooner go to death than live without dishonor. And you see, this right here, this is why Brook will continue to be the exception. Win or lose, this man is too valid in every other sense to be slandered like the other Straw Hats. And at this point, he seems to be the most sought after member of Luffy's crew. He had Big Mom wanting him, and now one of God's Knights. The very same knight who Usopp watched kick Brook away with the reinforced power of her arrow. But after doing so, she seemed to grip her own heart. Is this the pain of rejection or something to do with her insane regeneration? Either way, this dynamic of theirs is very fascinating. And Gunko was not done. She proceeded to stomp Brook out while Summers moved on to his announcement. He spoke directly to the Giants of Elbaf. The transmission was received in the midst of their fight against the Nightmare monsters. Summers imagined that the Giants must be under tremendous stress thanks to their handiwork. He introduced his name and station, along with the fact that he is the dagger of the Holy Land. And man, some of these dream monsters are becoming more and more abstract. Is that a dog spider with spikes? In the artisan village to the south, they were up against a lion with wings. They questioned what the world government was after. The giant warrior pirates received the transmission too. The same was the case for the hunter village in the northwest, and they all seemed to wear pelts here instead of the typical helmets. Summers went on to say that at the moment, they're kidnapping 10 children from Elbaf. He also added the fact that Saul was defeated while trying to save them. Anj was thoroughly disturbed by the news about Saul. Summers called the giants naive for believing the children would be safe. St. Keelingham lamented the fact that they don't have a video feed to work with. Instead, he asked Anj if she knows the names of all the children they've abducted. Since she does, he would have her make the announcement. It was about time for the children to wake up from their dreams, so his sleep inducement seems to have a time limit. When the children woke up, they had no idea what was going on. The fact that their bodies were moving on their own was really strange. Some of the kids began crying for their parents. Colin was ahead of the pack and let them know that they've all been kidnapped. And that was one hell of a surprise. As the only warrior among them, Colin told the weaklings to settle down. So when two massive monsters loomed over them, they shouted at Colin to help them. But the so-called warrior was just as freaked out as they were. After hearing about Saul's defeat, the giant warrior pirates decided to turn back and save the kids themselves. But unfortunately, their ship sustained some real damage. The nightmare monsters that now surrounded them looked strange. Some manner of beastly woman was below. And to one of the men, the monster looked a bit like his wife. And he's really lucky that she is not around to hear that. But he wasn't the only one who thought that. Then the crew remembered that these are supposed to be the children's fears given life. Dory knew that his crewmate's son was named Bent. With all that in mind, they were being attacked by angry moms. Even these brave warriors would be afraid of that. There's also the fact that the flaming hair and stature of the one below makes her look a lot like Big Mom. None of them could handle this. They began apologizing to their mothers for all their bad behavior. Soon, the clouds keeping their ship aloft had all drifted away. They were going to crash. And that gave St. Summers a good laugh as he informed the rest of Elbaf. Things just kept getting worse, and it looks like St. Summers' thorns are sentient monsters too. Summers wanted to maintain a good pace, so he decided to speak to Elder Ja Rule specifically, a man he regarded as being a legendary warrior. Since they don't have a king, he would have the Elder speak on behalf of the nation. Ripley couldn't believe what she saw. She, Frankie, Lilith, and Bonnie raced towards the crashed ship of the giant warrior pirates. Then St. Summers finally announced their goal. They intend to use the giants as their minions in battle. If they refuse, their children will suffer the consequences. And as usual, we received a handy map of where everyone is right now. From there, Anj announced the names of the 10 children. First was Ylva, who was crying. Elder Ja Rule was aghast to learn about his great-great-granddaughter's predicament. Second was Scotty, who believed they were helpless. Third was Olaf, who refused to believe this was real. Oimo grabbed Brogy's arm while saying that Olaf is his grandson. Colleen was fourth. She cursed her bad luck. She also has a bit of an Usopp-like nose. How crazy would it be if Yasopp has another long-nosed wife on Elbaf? I mean, that's definitely one way to make Elbaf an important arc for Usopp. Mug was fifth. He believed in his own strength, but couldn't stop himself from moving. Ronya was sixth, and somehow her adorable smile didn't fade since she had faith that everything would work out. Her father's teeth were just like hers, and he was ready to go save her himself. Bent was seventh, and just knew that his mom would be really mad. Johanna was eighth, and the only one of them with old giant blood on account of the horns. Unlike Bent, she's an orphan. Bjorn was ninth, and not exactly honorable since he hoped that they would at least save him. Then Summers admitted that they originally had only 9 victims, but another was taken when he tried to save his friends. Colin. Meanwhile, Johanna yelled at Bjorn for what he just said. Ripley reunited with her husband just as Colin's name was announced. Gaban was proud of their son's bravery, but this was hardly the time for that. With that bit out of the way, Saint Summers moved on to their demands. He decided that warriors do not need schools, libraries, or pointless history. He demanded that the Giants burn any such things and swear fealty to the world government. Otherwise, they would kill each of the children one by one. Now Gaban was mad. Frankie and the giant warrior pirates were ready to back him up too. Smiling, Saint Summers let the elder know that a decision is his to make. The elder was distraught. Refusing would likely mean his descendant would be the first to suffer. Anj begged them to stop this cruelty. St. Gillingham just looked at her. Anj shouted that the Walrus School is a symbol of Elbaf's peace, that the library not only protects their long-standing history, but it also holds the secrets of the world that the scholars of Ohara gave their lives to protect, that it doesn't belong to Elbaf alone. And to that, St. Summers hit the nail on the head. Anj sure does have a big mouth. That is the single worst thing she could have possibly said. Don't get me wrong, I get why she said it, since the books wouldn't sound valuable otherwise, but oh man does it make things a lot worse. Someone go tell the owl in the library to make itself useful. That way, at least one devil fruit using animal actually does something here. Unlike Chopper, who begged Robin not to get involved. Meanwhile, Ripley told her man to get going. And now, we have the most unexpected duo, Robin and Gaban, going head to head with God's Knights. Robin, please show the other Straw Hats how it's done. I need to see Demonio again. And although they've been captured, they should be close enough for her to free them. That aside, while the Devil Fruit powers of Saint Summers seem to be a counter to Robin's, the sheer number of limbs she can produce should be enough to overwhelm Gunko's arrows. And since Gaban is the legendary Mountain Eater, he should be able to hack away at those pesky vines from Saint Summers. Nothing from Luffy and Loki in this chapter, but I don't mind. Let us know what you expect to happen next. As always, I'm Sliceable Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.